Welcome to Watching Worst Films, your guide to Razzie history. This is another one of our special episodes. So my name is Jericho Reed. I'm joined by Kyle Szymanski
Hello.
and also by our guest, Marni Weinstein.
Hi.
So it seems like just yesterday we were celebrating Valentine's Day with Garry Marshall's Valentine's Day, but Mother's Day is right around the corner. So we are back with Mother's Day, Canadian Mother's Day, that is. We've missed UK Mother's Day, so sorry to all you UK mamas out there. You've been neglected, including mine. But we are here with 2016's Mother's Day. So if you haven't listened to our Valentine's Day special, Garry Marshall did these kind of like holiday anthology movies.
Hallmark holiday.
Yeah. This is the third in the trilogy as well, isn't it?
This is the trilogy ender, yeah.
Okay. What was the second one?
So I believe in order they go New Year's, Valentine's Day, Mothers, don't they?
Oh, I thought Valentine's Day came out first, but I don't know. I don't know the years they came out.
Didn't do a research.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I will say is thank fuck it's 8 months till New Year's anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are here with the film Mother's Day, and let's just deal with our background with the film. I know what Kyle's is, and I know what mine's is. Marni, had you seen Mother's Day prior to today?
Yeah, I think when it came out, I didn't know that it was 2016. I know I'd seen it once, but that was the last
Okay. I had not seen Mother's Day.
No, I know. I wouldn't even know about it if it wasn't for this fucking trilogy marathon we're doing. I could have got my whole
so pumped.
Oh yeah. But no, never heard of it. Didn't know it existed.
Yeah, so these are the kind of holiday anthology movies where what you do is you get a bunch of A-list. I'm gonna say A-list. I think that's how the plan originally started. Was you get a bunch of A-list actors and you group them together in these sort of like intersecting stories where you can get like top-notch talent because no one has to carry the full burden of the movie themselves. They're only in it for a little bit.
And by this point as well, at 2016, this is not A-list. This is 10 years, 2006, 96 and stuff. Yeah, Valentine's Day was A-lister compared to this. This was
we had Bradley Cooper, we had Taylor Swift, we had Julia Roberts.
Now we've got John Lovitz, you know.
You don't think Jennifer Aniston and Kate Hudson count as A-list? Aren't they like top paid actresses?
Not in 2016, no.
Oh, I guess year-wise, yeah.
Yeah. So on the topic of stars, this only cost 25 million, which I feel is probably down from Valentine's Day. Would either of you like to hazard a guess how much it made at the box office?
I'll go double, 50 million.
I don't think it's that high. I don't know, 30?
Kyle's almost right, 48.8 million. Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that high either, because this ends it. And if this was at all profitable, I thought they'd have been like, okay, it's Father's Day.
It's the one thing I knew about this film, just because I Googled one thing. It killed the director. I know it didn't literally kill the director, but it killed the director in my head. He died after a month or something after release. There is no more holidays. It's over. We're done. No one's getting a paycheck anymore. But 50 million isn't that much, you know, like all things considered for, you know, for what is like a targeted day release, you know what I mean? Like Valentine's Day is going to make more, and if you did bigger holidays, you'll make more. But yeah, I think 50 million's about right.
This is a ruthless side to Kyle that I've never seen before.
Do you think it's because it's targeted to more of a specific audience? Not everyone's a mom. Not everyone has.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's exactly it. Like single dads aren't going to see Mother's Day, and lonely neets and incels aren't going to go see Mother's Day. So like you've got a very specific audience.
And lonely neets and incels are going to see Valentine's Day. Is that what you're inferring?
Maybe.
Yeah. The draw of Taylor Swift, you know, the draw of Ashton Kutcher.
They're just taking notes. How is it they do it? How does Ashton Kutcher get these women? I must be doing something wrong. Okay, so the opening to this movie is song lyrics, which I will just quote for you. You might have a mom, she might be the bomb, but ain't nobody got a mom like mine.
Do you know who that's by?
No.
It's by Meghan Trainor, who just came out with a mother song recently.
That's Meghan Trainor.
This is
Oh,
a
I should have.
chipmunk auto-tune thing at the start, right? I didn't
Yeah.
hallucinate that. Yeah, like this film's a weird vision to me. It was a weird dream. Yeah, like this made my heart sink. I always tell you, Jericho, about the first 5 minutes. I get stupidly optimistic. I knew exactly. I was dreading every moment from the minute I heard that voice because this isn't for me. This is not for me. I just. Right. Anyway, continue.
Valentine's Day seemed kind of timeless, I want to say. Whereas this has a bunch of things that just date this very specifically as 2016. A Meghan Trainor, were we in like All About the Bass Mania in 2016?
Oh, I don't.
Like
Maybe.
I feel like that was Meghan Trainor's boom, and then she disappeared. And you're right, she's just come back recently. But I feel like we had like half a decade of silence from Meghan
Yeah,
Trainor
2014
until now.
was that song. So I guess that would be her boom years.
Okay, yeah. So this movie isn't set in Los Angeles as Valentine's Day was. We are now in Atlanta, and rather than Romeo Midnight, the radio host from Valentine's Day, we've got an unidentified female voice who is a cameo from Penny Marshall, the director and the sister of Garry Marshall, who introduces it with the lines, "Ah, Mother's Day. I love being a mother."
Yeah, sorry, continue. No, nothing to say. Nothing to say.
It's cheesy.
Yeah, I mean, I again, at least it sets it up for what I'm going to watch. This is going to grate my nerves. This is going to destroy my morale, and it's going to piss me off. So at least it got off the bat. Like, I'm happy with that. Walk me through it, Jericho. Continue.
I think this is. I just want to say, I think this is the angriest I've seen you made by any one
I
of these
hate it.
films.
I mean, so what did I say? I said it in the last one with Gigli. I hated that. This is getting hard on me because I was miserable. I thought there was going to be something fun, John Lovitz.
Like a Franklin.
Spoilers. I have 4 or 5. Yes, a Franklin, exactly it. I have 5 notes. Like I have nothing to say. When John Lovitz and a dog is my highlight, then I don't know what to do. Like, yeah, you know what? Like, and before you even get into the film, I didn't expect it to be so manipulative and just cruel to me as well at times. I thought this was so pathetic, and it was 2 hours long. And if it was an hour, and if it scraped the barrel, I'd have been happy. But no. This is going to be my most miserable review, I think, so far. I'm glad it's over.
Well, I'm sorry to do that to you. This is another one that we kind of watched out of sync, and I know my watch, I was desperately needing Kyle. I was like, I need someone to bounce off. I need someone to riff with because it's a very isolating experience. And this is maybe where we should speak about our viewing experiences. Both of you sent me a text almost like simultaneously, being like, I have 18 minutes left to go. I have 19 minutes left to go. And I actually had only just finished the film because I watched most of it the other day, but I had my brother staying with me. And I was like, okay, he's asleep last night. I'm gonna watch the last like 15 minutes, 19 minutes of Mother's Day. And I started it and almost immediately fell asleep because I was like, I don't want to watch.
Well, that was it. Like sleep's a much more better view and much better alternative.
Yeah.
This was a struggle. This was an actual struggle to watch as well. Like I was saying, there's nothing fun. And again, I'll get into the bits and pieces I want to talk about, but there's nothing that was keeping me going, and there's nothing to look forward to. I think by when I quit at the hour and a half, hour 20 minute, because I know what's gonna happen. Like I'm not stupid. I've watched Valentine's Day. I know how they're going to go. So it's going to be this, but worse. And I miss I take back everything bad I said about Valentine's Day. I long for it. I watched that twice in a row. Yeah.
To take back the time.
Okay, if Kyle's got 5 notes and he's putting that burden on me, I'm going to need a lot of assistance from you here, Marnie, in recapping this plot.
I didn't take any notes, but I'll do my best. I finished it 20 minutes ago.
I think I can give you the gist of it. Like I know what happened. I know the 4 or 5 main characters' stories. I know what happens to them and how they reconnect with their mothers or whatever. But the order it happens, like I don't know. Like things happen. Yeah.
I'll help you, Jericho.
Okay.
I got you.
Thank you.
Thank you. First off, first note, Peter let the ants loose. Jennifer Aniston is our first mom, and she has an unspecified number of kids.
It's 2 kids.
Two
That's
kids.
what she
Thank
says
you.
to-
Great.
Annie with 2 sons.
Yep, see, it's a line that she uses. Like, I remembered that. See, that sticks in the brain.
I have faith in us. We're going to do this. Between all three of us, we will have watched this movie. So she's a single mom, divorced mom, and her child has let the ants loose. They've let the ants from the farm loose. And she's, it's that scene we've all seen a million times. The mom's trying to get the kids ready for the school rush, and there are ants everywhere. Your standard morning. And so she's trying to get them to have breakfast.
I've got to interrupt as well, because she's like, this is paraphrasing, because this is me angry, but it was like, where the fuck are the ants? And he was like, oh, they're loose in the garden, Mom. And I'm like, well, then who gives a shit? Like, no harm, no
It's
foul.
also very much like a Jennifer Aniston chaos scene that you've seen her do in every single thing she's done. Friends, her Adam Sandler movies, like all of it. It's very setting up who Jennifer Aniston's character is.
100%.
Listen, Mom, the ants and I are on a break, so just deal with it.
But like, why even say? I expected ants to be running around, and I'm more chaos. They're in the fucking garden.
You want to see Ant-Man.
I want to see something.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah. My brother is running around with the ants, and he's 1 millimeter tall. Yeah, so while Peter is letting the ants loose, the other kid is having breakfast, and Dad lets them have donuts for breakfast. And that's the sort of clash of Dad's fun and Mom's the boring
he lets them eat
one.
Donuts, and they don't have to wear underwear, so he's super cool.
Yeah, free balling, he calls it.
Yeah.
And then the dad comes in, and we're introduced to the dad, who is none other than Timothy Olyphant. So how do you feel about that, Carl?
I mean, no opinion.
I didn't know if you were a Deadwood guy.
I like him, right? But like, it's not my Topher, moment. It's not my exciting, yes, it's someone. If John Lovitz was the husband, maybe we'd be talking. But
how did Jennifer Aniston catch John Lovitz? How did she ensnare this man? Isn't he a little out of her league?
But yeah, like, I had no opinion. I mean, it was nice to see him. He got a paycheck. He didn't have to do much. Like, fair play to him.
So I have the quote here. I will take credit for the underwear, because he says that.
Sure does.
My next note is remarried. So I think this is because Jennifer Aniston is harboring notions of getting back with. So
basically, he's like, I need to speak to you later on. I have something important to say.
Yeah,
to you.
and she's like,
this is it. And she phones all her friends.
He's gonna pop the question again.
She phones all the other characters, and they're all like, "Oh, he's got to get a bigger ring," and it's so fucking obvious what's actually going to happen. Like, you'd have to be a moron not to get like anything that's going to happen in this film. So yeah, she's harboring all these feelings that he's going to come back, and I think he checks it out or something because she's wearing a towel or some shit. I don't know. I can't remember.
I mean, his comes off as kind of a tool throughout the entire movie, but that first scene, especially, I was like, even if he was gonna get back together, even if he checked her out, whatever, he comes off as a tool, and I'm just,
I mean, that's
not into it.
He's so obviously evil,
Yeah.
Like,
evil.
He is evil.
I thought you said ego.
Oh no,
evil.
No, I think he is. He looks like a supervillain. I think he's going to be up to no good. I know this.
If you've listened to our Valentine's Day episode, he's Patrick Dempsey.
Yeah.
He's Jennifer Garner is Jennifer Aniston, and Timothy Olyphant is Patrick Dempsey. We've got our Jennifer in a relationship with a TV guy, harboring sort of notions of like, oh, it's going to be great. He's the one, and then you're going to find out like he is an adulterous juggler, and you can do better.
100%.
So the twist in this is that no, he's not getting back with his ex. He is with a 20-year-old, and so his big surprise, I think, is like, hey, can I take the kids to see? Is this early?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Nothing chronologically works, so go for the story. We're
recapping Jennifer.
Well, let's just say
here. That's what we're doing.
Let's just introduce this. That's a good point, Marnie. Nothing chronologically works because by the end, I was like, maybe because I watched this film spread across multiple days, but I was like, is this all taking place over
Yeah.
Mother's Day? Is this
Or is it, no,
entire film set in
it's
one
like
day?
the
No, it
day
was over a
before.
weekend
Yeah,
or
yeah, the day
something,
before.
Oh, okay, of course.
Because
Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Because again, I don't know, is this a North American Canadian thing? Like that
Do you have a Mother's
they
Week?
ask, yeah, how are you gonna celebrate? You know, how are you celebrating? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, I don't get it. I don't get how it was an event. You know what I mean? Like,
just to clarify, Kyle, this took place in the United States, not Canada. Don't clump us
I
together.
said North America,
Okay,
like the continent. The Mexicans might want to as well.
Nothing
I don't
wrong with
know.
the United States. I'm just Canadian.
The whole of them.
Thank you, Marnie, for protecting our US listenership there. I'd be like,
Yeah,
fuck
sorry.
'em. They don't have
Nothing
healthcare.
wrong.
What are they doing down there? But
Lots wrong, but just not this thing.
yeah, no, in North America, Mother's Day gets an entire month. People
Yeah.
have parties, there's cakes.
Except
like,
the party
you know,
in in the show was not for Mother's Day. They never actually really celebrated Mother's Day.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess when the racists come to town, they come
Yeah.
they come to town on Mother's
so many
Day.
words.
But yeah.
Okay, so we got sidetracked there, but chronologically, at one point, Timothy Oliphant, like I think Timeo drops a double bombshell of I'm dating a 20-year-old, and by the way, we're also taking your kids to
Yes.
Paris.
No, Paris
That's
is later.
so out of order.
Vacation.
Yeah, Paris is way
Okay,
late.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sorry. We'll deal
I
with
think
that
they just
later
want, he
on.
wants him for the
But
weekend, like for Mother's Day, and she's
okay,
gonna be
yeah,
alone on Mother's
yeah,
Day, and that's
yeah, you old
yeah,
hag.
that's it exactly.
Yeah. So my next note is this does not have the juice. I think we'd only just finished the Jennifer Aniston scene, and already I was like, this isn't going
Yeah.
anywhere. I need some Bradley Cooper. I need some Anne Hathaway. I need some
need
Topher.
Topher.
Give me someone to cling on to.
I mean, I didn't know the cast either. I went completely blind into this.
Neither did I. Yeah.
So when they were popping up, I kind of expected a Valentine's Day kind of ensemble. So once we looped back to Aniston within 15 minutes, I was like, ah, fuck.
It's a smaller cast or like story for sure.
Mhm.
Like less stories to follow, which I guess helps, but also doesn't. You know,
it helps.
Yeah, you're right,
sense.
Marnie. If they were stronger, the more focused stories would be more enjoyable. But because they're weaker and you're spending more time with them, I was just like, Valentine's Day blew Kathy Bates on like a nothing part. Kathy Bates would eat these people for breakfast. Like, where's Shirley MacLaine?
And the cast that they had come back, because there were a few returning characters, not characters, actors in new roles.
Yeah.
They could have picked up people.
Yeah. No one's particularly excited to see the returning characters that we have here. My next note is womb float. So this is the introduction to our next batch of mothers. We've got Sarah Chalk and her sister, that's Kate Hudson, right?
Yes. Don't know her name in the thing, but it's Kate. It's Elliot from Scrubs and Kate Hudson. That's all I have in my head.
It's Zoo from Music. Sia's Music, my favorite film of all time. So they're preparing for the big Mother's Day parade, which, Kyle, take my word on this. This is something they do in North America. Every town has a Mother's Day parade.
I've never seen one.
They all. Marnie's
take
lying.
Jericho's word or take mine.
She doesn't want you to feel as if you've missed out. But Mother's Day parade is kind of like Midsummer. You know, it's just this big like pagan thing they do. They burn all the single women in a womb. Everyone who's over the age of 30 and hasn't had a child, every single woman, they're like, you know, you're gone. This is for mothers only.
I don't know where he was living when he was in Canada, but it was not where I was living.
In my head.
Okay.
In my head.
I have one thing to say about this giant vagina womb float thing. This is the first time as well when I realized no one's going to be acting. We are just going to deliver exposition and move the fucking thing forward, and we're just gonna cash a check. Like this was the real, because like I don't know, maybe Jennifer Aniston's a great actress and I've just never seen it, but like now that I see everybody's just gonna be doing nothing, this was the moment where I really turned. I have another moment coming up soon where I want to turn it off, but like this was the moment where I was like, oh no, we're gonna tell each other who we are and why we're doing these things. And
it's me, your sister.
listen,
remember
when we moved from
your
Texas
sister
to get away from our parents because they don't, and you're like, fuck's sake.
Thank you, sister. I'd actually forgotten that I had a mother and a father who were racist.
I like how this is the moment for Kyle that turned, and it's like 6 minutes into the film.
Yeah, I texted you, I think, about 15 minutes into the movie, being like, you are gonna hate this. Like, this is
I'm sorry. Like I said to you then, I'm so sorry, Giglet. I'm so sorry. Like everything I've said in the past, however episodes we've done, I take it all back. Give me Mommy Dearest any day of the week.
So we then get our next set of couples, which one of them is Jack Whitehall.
This is it.
And my question is, why is he doing a less English accent?
Well, like because you can't be properly English in America. They want you to be like TV English. They want to be Harry Potter. They don't want you to be fucking Manchester, like fucking chewing through your face.
But Jack Whitehall's like a posh boy.
And I hate him.
He's just
I didn't know he was gonna
Where is he from?
London.
Kyle, you kill time, and
I believe London. I've got £2 on London.
Yeah, he's from the London-ish
Chelsea
area
or something.
Yeah, he's from London.
Well, he's a posh twat, and he's a terrible comedian. And I mean, it's a James Corden effect. I'm glad he's not in this country anymore. Go overseas.
I was gonna say Jack Whitehall is the one person in the world who benefits from the existence of James Corden, because he's just like a shield of like, as long as James Corden's out there, Jack Whitehall's not as bad.
Well, he's screwed, so there you go.
So yeah, we're 7 minutes into the film, and now I'm ready to turn it off, because I was like, of all the fucking hot comedians you could put on here, like, did it have to be Jack Whitehall?
Who would you have?
John
Kyle?
Lovitz
Michael
again.
McIntyre, Jimmy Carr.
Everyone's John Lovitz in my film. Yeah, like, okay, yeah. I don't want anyone. I don't want British comedians shoehorned into this film. And if it is,
Ricky Gervais. Oh, are you offended? Are you offended by my act? Are you triggered?
Give me like what was it? We had Lee Evans in The Ladies' Man, right?
Yeah.
Lee Evans. Give me Lee Evans. There we go.
Lee Evans is dating a 20-year-old woman. That's how they do things in England, okay? Prince Andrew.
He can play the Timmy O role, and then they'll swap, like, there we go.
Okay.
I don't care. If you've got to shoehorn someone in, please don't. Yeah.
So you're just saying anyone other than him, basically.
Basically, yeah. Give Topher a fucking pay, like,
give Topher a break.
Topher would have been good.
Topher could have done with a paycheck here.
Yeah. But perhaps I've got a little carrot to dangle in front of you. In the presence of Ted Lasso, Mr. Jason Sudeikis. He's in this movie.
Literally playing Ted Lasso as well. Like, I was at first, because I was like, I don't know, I can't remember what year Ted Lasso, started. I know it's like old, like it's not just a TV show.
Is it? I thought it was like 2019, 2020.
I think it's a character.
Oh, the concept.
I think it was like commercials or some shit he did before. I think I remember reading
Barclays or Capital One.
Shit. And I was like, oh, is that a coincidence? Or is this like the in between? I have this character that I've done in commercials, and I'll basically just do that. But we're introduced, and right, so this, I like Sudeikis in things being quite like a asterisk, because sometimes he just doesn't give a shit. But I was going to be honest, this was the first time I was like, okay, someone that, this is my carrot, this is my, like, okay, I'm intrigued in this. And then, you know what, like, I remember We Are the Millers, and that's Aniston and Sudeikis, isn't it? So I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was.
So I was like, okay, and I enjoyed that. That was fine. That was good, fun at least, and had jokes in it, and things happened.
Yeah.
So okay, this was my moment of, maybe you've swung me back round. Maybe more people are going to be in it that I enjoy. So yeah, I'm wrong, and like, I'm naive and stupid, but like,
maybe Malcolm McDowell's going to be in this film.
The 87-year-old father, I don't know.
So my note for Jason Sudeikis: Jennifer Aniston is a single mom. Jason Sudeikis is a single dad.
Yeah, it's set up there. It's just the only two single people.
So my note for that is always a dead mom. And then I also had Troop again.
Right, so this is right.
Because
this is like my final note, basically, until Lovitz. Like Jennifer, it's Jennifer Garner, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
So I have, right, hold on, I've got it here. Jennifer Garner, how embarrassing. Her karaoke scene, I was like, because I don't know. I thought that's a shame. You should be embarrassed for yourself. But then
I feel like it's true to her though. I feel like her cute little is very Jennifer Garner.
But then I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute, you got the best deal here. Like you don't put this on the fucking show reel. This is half an hour of work and you've got paid $250,000.
No, Kyle, I looked this up. It's not Jennifer Garner, but Julia Roberts filmed for 4 days and she got paid $3 million.
Well, this is what brings me around, because I was thinking of that. I was thinking of Valentine's Day, and I was like, you know what? They've saved money by using the fucking camo fatigues that Julia wore in Valentine's Day. They've just swapped the dresses.
Yeah.
Fuck it, green screen, throw you in a cheap set. Here, we've already got the camo, and I'm sure Gardner got a healthy paycheck. It might not have been Roberts level, but it was a healthy paycheck. Yeah. And I went, you know what? Good for you, girl. You've done nothing, and you've got out of this film scotch-free. So yeah, right. One more note after this. This is how bad it's getting. But yeah, it's always a dead fucking spouse, isn't it? It's always going to be that way.
Well, my spidey sense was tingling because Valentine's Day got me, where they were doing the Love Actually thing of the little kid Edison was celebrating Valentine's Day for the first time without a mom. And then they trick us right at the end where they reveal like, oh, his mom's not actually dead. She's just a troop overseas and it's Julia Roberts. So when Ted Lasso is like, hey, girls, it's pretty hard for you celebrating Mother's Day for the first time since your mom died. Your mom died. I was like, I'm not falling for it again, Ted. Show me the body. Show me the body.
Someone asks Ted as well. They're like, what are you doing for Mother's Day? And he's like, well, fucking nothing. You know, she's dead, you know? Again, paraphrasing slightly, but like she was like, it's died a year. Like it's the first Mother's Day. What am I going to be doing?
And what they did differently last time was they alluded to it, but again, they never showed the body, as Jericho likes to say. But this time, we knew from the beginning. But he doesn't say, for the most part, unless it's the people he already knows, because Jennifer Aniston's character assumed he was divorced, right, in those scenes. So.
Yeah.
If Jennifer Garner showed up at the end of the film, like alive, and being like, "What the fuck, Ted? Like, why are you?"
It's that
Jennifer Aniston. I'd have been so happy.
Imagine we just get like a flashback, and it's like The Simpsons, like your mom's dead. Tired of celebrating Mother's Day with you. Or like they just find out like their mom is an actor and she's shooting like I don't know. Dead or alive in like Afghanistan. She's dead, you know, she's working on Dead, like she's dead, has all her time. And it's like, oh yeah, no, she's back from set. Just I don't know.
I would have loved it. But then again, Jennifer Garner would have had to do more work and you know, get in.
Can't afford it.
Can't afford it. Good on her.
Okay, my next note is getting married. I have no idea what that pertains to. I think that might be Jack Whitehall.
The 20-year-old and Jennifer Aniston.
They eloped, The 20-year-old and Big Timo eloped instantly. And she shows the big ring. I think it's when Jennifer Aniston's meeting the 20-year-old as well, and she's flaunting
Jay Mitchell.
Yeah.
To the actress.
Is she from something?
I didn't know who this is.
I just know her from Pretty Little Liars. But she's not done anything really since. She's local, like she's from down the street from where I live. So a lot of people know of her, but more of an Instagram mom now.
Okay. Yeah.
Fitting for Mother's Day. So we've got the sort of overlap with Valentine's Day in terms of like moms being troops. We've got another one here, which I noted down: nuns.
Where are the nuns?
So don't worry, Marni. I'm not gonna out you again. Being terrified of nuns. So Ted Lasso runs a gym, and I think nuns are working out in his gym.
Yeah.
You just see them. It's sort of like a panning shot, I think, and we just pass by some.
They put that in there for us. That was it. Just me and you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Ted Lasso's in the gym speaking to his like his ladies, like the moms that he's friends with. And they're like, you need to get back out in the market, Ted. We'll set you up with someone. And we just see
it's cheerleaders. That's all those girls are there for, is to give him advice as they work out and be like highly inappropriate oftentimes.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's locker room talk,
Yeah.
Marnie. That's what moms are like with each other.
And you know what? They don't even.
You know, Ted, you've got to go out. There's moms. You can do anything.
They don't even. They
Sorry,
don't
Kylie,
even
you're saying.
fucking help. You know, like when I seen them, I was like, they're gonna set
No.
up Ted, and maybe they're not gonna get. Maybe they know Jennifer Aniston. Maybe something's all gonna be linked together. No, they serve no purpose other than to have the one-liners or the fucking little moments.
And they don't listen to him. He's like,
No.
I'm not interested in this. I'm not this kind of person. And they're like, oh, well,
I'm
we don't care.
grieving the death of my wife, which happened mere months ago. And they're like, you gotta get back out there, Ted. These moms are crazy. They'll do anything. Yeah. So my next note is football. Because like I think the kids are playing soccer, and I'm like, he just is Ted Lasso. Like you're right, Kyle. He's just
and then Ted Lasso. No, he doesn't have a dead wife, does he?
I've not seen it.
I'm gonna say he does. I don't know why. I'm gonna just for the sake of this podcast.
Is there a Mrs. Lasso?
But he's literally Ted Lasso. I mean, he's this is fun for us. I think we said it was Valentine's Day have a soccer football game.
Yes, you don't remember Franklin's moment?
This film,
Franklin's Renegade Scorpion.
This film has given me dementia. Okay, I don't remember anything.
It was our favorite scene, Kyle.
Yes.
We'll let you re-listen to the podcast.
Actually, it makes sense because the goalkeeper fancies Ted Lasso's daughter. Is that correct?
Could be.
Did I make that?
Maybe.
Little kid?
She's on the team.
I can't quite.
Okay. All right. I'm okay. Maybe go back, watch it. Maybe I'm right. I think I'm right.
But there is this consistency, like the troops, the nuns, the soccer, like there is some sort of consistency that they're trying to show. It's like Americanized. I don't know.
Yeah, Garry Marshall has his director trademark. So like every film must have the nuns, the troop mom, the soccer scene. Like
I just asked Darren, and he said Ted Lasso has a wife in America, but they are separated or something.
He's a single dad. He's single.
Wife in America, good as dead. She's dead to me. Thank you to Darren, the Ted Lasso correspondent, for clearing that up for us. My next note, character actress Margot Martindale. So she is the mother of Sarah Chalke and Kate
the
Hudson.
Racist. Yeah.
The racist, yeah.
The racist. We're gonna simplify things here, yeah. So she Zoom calls them, doesn't she?
She Skypes. It's 2016.
Sorry, yeah, it's 2016, and she's like, they're on a
motorhome.
Yeah,
RV, yeah.
RV, someone. And who's the dad? I can't remember who the dad is.
I didn't recognize him.
No, okay, no one important. So basically, Sarah Chalke and Kate Hudson are trying to keep their secrets from them.
Yeah,
and that is Kate Hudson is married to and has a child with an Indian fella.
Who is Mr. Aziz from Spider-Man 2.
Thank you. Thank you for our Spider-Man correspondence. Sarah Chalke is a lesbian and
may have a child.
And they have a child too. Yeah. So there's like layers of secrets here. And I was like, okay, like this is where I say it starts getting manipulative as well. So this is so ham-fisted and like, you can do this story. This is delicate topics to, work into. How do I get through to my racist mother? But there's a line as well where they're talking. It's like, you have to buffer the bad news. You go first and stuff,
Yeah.
Being married and having a kid with an Indian's worse than being married and having a kid with a woman. So and I just thought, oh, fuck, this is going to, because you know what's going to happen. You know exactly what's going to fucking happen. And you're 20 minutes into the movie. So why bother? I could have just skipped to the last 20 minutes and I know exactly what's going to happen.
Would have been good if they'd subverted it where Margot Martindale calls them out on like, why the fuck did you hide this from me? Are you ashamed of your lesbian wife and your Indian husband? Like, you bigot. How dare you conceal these lovely people from me? These lovely in-law, like these lovely son and daughter-in-laws.
That's that I kind of expected her to be like, no matter what you think of me, but no matter what you think of my beliefs, I think it's outrageous you would keep 2 grandchildren away from me for 6 years and not even tell me, you know how much that hurts me. I'm still your mother, stuff like this. Some sort of nuance and depth. No.
Yeah, we'll deal with it later on, but I'm surprised how much they commit to just making them racist. Like they don't make them like
handled really not delicately at all. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was expecting like, like the sort of kindly racist of like they're from a different era and they don't kind of
Yeah,
understand and they might
they're
make
tech,
like an insensitive.
they're Texan boomers. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's enough for me. You don't have to
And
throw it in my face.
2016, to go
No,
back
you know
to
what's
our
happened.
little belief that everything relates back to the US 2016 election. They're from Texas. Odds are they probably voted for Donald
They
Trump.
absolutely voted for Donald.
Yeah.
You could have just had that, like, how have either of you seen The Whale?
Not
No,
yet,
not
no.
yet.
The Whale set in 2016 and just randomly, like, the Republican convention is just on the TV. Like, whenever he switches the TV on, it's just got, like, Trump speaking about, like, Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz. And they should have had that in this. They should have just been like the Republican National Convention was just sort of bubbling in the background as Margot
But
Martindale
they
was like,
didn't know the relevance of it to today's date. Isn't The Whale
Yeah.
take place in 2016?
Yeah,
And
so
Yeah.
this is a
now?
2016, and because
Yeah.
he wears like the
a red
granddad,
baseball or something.
well, he wears like a blue sort of like it's like America First or something, or
Yeah, he
America
wears
Great or
an
something.
American flag shirt.
Oh yeah,
So
you're
there
right. Yeah.
definitely there's like things that maybe not deliberate, maybe just a coincidence, but I was like, okay, that's he didn't literally, because if it was made now and set in 2016, they'd do what you say in The Whale, they would throw it all on. But here I was like, oh, okay, again, it's not delicate, it's not nuanced or anything, but
And it wouldn't fly today.
Yeah,
would
no,
not.
you
Things
couldn't.
that were said.
Different time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
couldn't. We'll deal with that a little bit later on, but there's no way you can redeem these people. Of like, you can't have them be like dropping slurs casually and then just be like, you know what, they're fine. Deep down, they're good people. So I just realized that I don't mention Julia Roberts until almost the very end, but Julia Roberts is in this film as.
Well,
I have one note on her, and that's it.
I just want to say that because like Marni just said, that she got paid fucking more than I'll ever see in my life for 3 days, and it shows because
4
she's
days.
barely,
It's okay.
4 days.
That's fine. Thank God.
Take it all back. She's barely in this fucking thing. Once again, like I don't know if Garry Marshall just really wants to give her money that bad, or like this is how they're gonna.
It's an investment, Kyle. You get Julia in, and she brings the money back to you.
She brings the money in. She's the reason it got 50 million. Yeah, she does not deserve to be top billed here. I don't think she's one of the main.
You're gonna have John Lovett's top bills.
I'm the dog. I think it's Aniston, Ted Lasso, Kate Hudson, and Jack Whitehall's girlfriend.
Yeah,
that's my main four.
In prominence, you're right.
In prominence, they're the ones, but like in billing, yeah,
they're not a name though. They're not Pretty Women. Roy Orbison never wrote any songs about them.
Before we get to bloody Julia Roberts, I want to bring up I want to talk about John Lovitz because I've been speaking about him now. He is my moment of yes. Like I got so excited just because it's 2016 John Lovitz as well. I was like, great. He looks like a boiled potato, and he comes storming on stage with his dog, and I was so excited because I like Lovitz, and he got payday, so I'm happy for him there. B, I thought he was going to be more comic relief. I thought he was going to somehow be involved or something. So I get naive and excited. And C, it made me think of Friends as well, because I was like, oh, he was on Friends with Jennifer Aniston. So
was he? Oh.
Yeah, 2 episodes. Like, Lovitz gets work. So I was really, really happy. He also had like the only thing that was close to me smiling at a joke. I think it's when he's introduced. He's like king of the car salesman, and now owner of the nightclub or comedy club. And I was like, okay. And then John Lovitz walks out, and that made me smile. Anyway, he's got a dog for some reason, so that really made me excited. That's it. This is like I have one more note after that. John Lovitz fucks off after 2 minutes, and I have no excitement or joy. And it's all Julia Roberts on a fucking infomercial, doing nothing, barely standing. Like,
well, yeah, Julia Roberts is like the infomercial saleswoman, and she has like a not great haircut.
That was my note. I hate
it's a wig, right? It's a wig, surely.
I think so.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I would hope so.
I've seen Julia Roberts in enough things, and some of the times it's this cheeky, cheesy, whatever. This was awful. She was just like a robot. Her hair looked awful, and it drove me absolutely crazy. I would walk away and go do something else while watching her scenes.
Right, so I have a little note that relates to that, Marnie, because at the very end, I don't think any of you stuck around for the outtakes, did you?
I didn't. No.
I did.
Right. Right, you did. Okay, right. Jericho, watch this afterwards. Do your homework. There's an outtake where I think it's like a train's passing Julia Roberts, right?
Mhm.
And I laughed
And her
out
hair
loud.
flies off.
No, honestly, it looks like she's shut down, right? It looks like someone's like turned the android off because she's just staring blankly for like 20 seconds. And I was like, is she all right? Is she dead? Like, is the robot broken down? And I exactly thought that. I was like, I've never seen such a robotic performance, but if you watch that outtake, bizarre. She might actually be a robot at this point.
No, but you're actually right. Like, it was such a bizarre acting experience from her. Like, I don't know. I later in the story, she talks about how she gave up a baby for adoption, and it's a a touching story and whatnot. So I understand why her character would be a little more hesitant emotionally, but not a robot. We're still humans. Like, she was a robot.
I'll get to I have something, because again, this is where I think it gets really manipulative when it gets into her adoption stuff later on. I thought that was so fucking weird and ham-fisted again, and just manipulative to try and make the audience feel like something, and it didn't feel like human beings. I was like, who does this? Who acts like this? Who reacts like this? Who just gets fucking married? Like, whatever.
Yeah, the story with her daughter too is just odd.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But doesn't connect well.
Because that's Jack Whitehall's. I don't know who the actress is. Who's the actress?
Okay, we're Britt Robertson, I think.
Britt Robertson.
Right.
Okay, but so that's Jack. No.
We're getting ahead of things. We're getting ahead of things. So
let Kyle do it. We're on our angry tangent with Julia Roberts.
Rain back, reel me back.
We've got another Valentine's Day connection, which is Hector Elizondo, who played the man who was cuckolded by Shirley MacLaine, who Emma Roberts provokes Shirley MacLaine into confessing that she slept with his business partner.
Yes.
He's Roberts girls. We're in it.
He's in this, but in a much smaller role. He's just playing like the stage manager, floor manager of the infomercial show. So he's in it just kind of as Julia Roberts' handler. Yeah.
I loved him in other movies I've seen him in, hated him in this.
Yeah, I thought he was like, I liked him in Valentine's Day, and this, I'm just like, God, why is this man here?
Very robotic as well.
He was. I mean, it was almost like, I don't know how to explain his performance, because when he comes in with his fucking beret on as well, and it's almost like, I don't even know the word, he's not overacting, but he's chewing through it.
Yeah, he's doing something. He's doing too much or not enough, or there's something going on.
There's something. I don't know what it is. But I agree with you. I noticed him though. I did remember that from Valentine's Day. I was like, oh, it's the cuckold, he's back. So that's fine.
Maybe this is like, we can discuss later on the extent to which this can possibly take place in the Valentine's Day cinematic universe, but maybe he's the same character. Shirley MacLaine, things didn't work out, and now that he's no longer married to a famous actress, he's had to get a job and he's had to work for his living. He's like, oh God.
This is like if you fed Valentine's Day into like an AI and told it to make a sequel, and it just like regurgitates all these weird little exactly. All these weird, so it knows who needs to be in here. It knows Julia Roberts needs to be here, but like it doesn't know how to do it. That's exactly how the whole film felt like.
And they're good actors. It's just that this was shit.
Like they're good actors, and Garry Marshall's like a good director. Like all the pieces are here. I cannot understand why this was the way it was.
They must have just not cared. They're like,
for sure.
As Carla said before, I'm taking a paycheck home for 4 days of work.
Garry Marshall as well. I don't know exactly how old Jericho look up, but he was in his 80s as well. He's
this filmed.
This is the last film, like I said. I like to think it killed him, but that's just my headcanon. He's an old man. Yeah,
so he died this year at the age of 81. But as on our recent interview with Cindy Beagle, she spoke about working with him, and she had that anecdote about him telling stories about working on the Dick Van Dyke Show. So you maybe get the sense that he's from like a different era, and at this point in time is just kind of like,
outdated.
Let's Like, you know, we're
Throw
not
it in.
reinventing the wheel here. We've all done this. We've all made movies before, and we're just
that's it. We'll do it as quick as we can, as cheap as we can. Well, basically just because that's the other thing. Like, it looks cheap.
And he also didn't write the screenplay, which we should maybe say.
Okay, well, like, yeah, but like it looked cheaper than Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day still looked like a movie. This looked
the
like
razzle dazzle.
Cameron Hallmark movies. Yeah, this
we're
really
seeing
was
the stars.
the screenplay written by the same person consistently for all three?
No. So I'll just the screenwriters for this are not blue on Wikipedia, which is probably a bad sign. And the screenwriters for Valentine's Day are
that hyperlink.
They are blue. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they're blue. And it was written by one person.
Okay.
Story by three, and then screenplay by one, whereas this was three non-blue people. So but a Margot Martindale rant of these blue people. They're coming here and they're writing our movies. We've got to get black jobs. Well, let's not use black actually. These blue jobs for blue people. But yeah, so just as an example of how hackneyed this is, we had the scene of Jennifer Garner, like Ted Lasso, watching Jennifer Garner do karaoke and just sort of crying. And then the next day, his daughters are like, "So you need to go grocery shopping. You need to get some bread, some milk, some eggs, some tampons." And he's like, "What?"
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please cut this into the previous conversation. So I had to look up. I was curious there, right? One of the writers, I don't know why, I was just curious here. One of the writers is Matthew Walker, who played Randy the Clown in Mother's Day.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
I got so many comments about that clown scene too.
Same. I have notes about Matthew Walker later on. So.
Apparently he was also in
he was in Valentine's Day. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
He was? Who was he?
Matthew Spitz. I could have said any name there. Would you have remembered? You know,
Johnny Walker.
I have him as Greg Gilkins in Valentine's Day.
Yeah, because I just made it up.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Joke.
Who was he? Like, what do we remember him besides the name?
I don't recall him. Maybe he's just like a customer in Ashton Kutcher's flower shop. That seems the most likely.
He was with the nuns. Okay, anyway.
So we have that. I could see this tampon scene coming a mile away because we've seen it in, I feel like every single movie with a single dad and a daughter involves like, I need tampons, and him just being like, oh, like I've never heard of these things existing until my daughter mentioned that she needs them. And how dare you, daughter? Do you realize what an inconvenience this is for me? Do you realize? So he goes into the supermarket, he's in like Trader Joe's or whatever, and he's like so embarrassed, like grabs.
But before we go on with the Jennifer Aniston scene that's about to come up, I just want to say that as a female who grew up in a predominantly female house with one male, which was my father, and he grew up in a predominantly female house. He has two sisters. The idea that men don't know what tampons are absurd.
Yeah.
It's not like when my sister and I became a woman and he was like, "Oh, run away." Yeah. No, he would go to the store and buy us tampons. It's not a weird,
like a normal human being, Marnie. That's weird. It's like
there's certain parts about sexism and racism and LGBTQ community that did not fly for me in this film, and I feel most people would probably agree with that.
If I had a time machine, I'm tempted just to go back and shoot the person who wrote the first like dad embarrassed tampon scene, because I'm like, it's nonsense.
It's a trope
and
now.
Like exactly. Everyone just does it. And I don't know how much like truth it has. But like it's all just like they're referencing that scene of like, oh well, this scene started off. So like every dad must have like a meltdown and like.
And also, if you're going off of his family lifestyle, his wife was not around because she was out serving. She probably had to learn a thing or two about raising girls alone.
Well,
yeah, that's an amazing point. Actually,
I'm not defending this film, but I'm going to defend this film.
Listen, I've never heard of tampons either.
The oldest daughter says something like, "I've basically been raising myself.
Oh
I clean the house." I do the cooking, I do everything. You do fuck all but like fart about in a gym and coach football.
He's coaching Richmond FC. He's got bigger fish to fry.
So like maybe that's like me, reading the implication, or I'm inferring that he's an absent dad as well. He's not very hands-on.
Yeah,
single dads always are. Yeah.
And like, maybe because Jennifer Garner was serving, they had sex twice. He impregnated her twice, and she's just served. Didn't know anything about women. He's never been around women or girls. He's too busy gallivanting.
He's never been in a grocery store and wondered what those things opposite the toothbrushes are.
No. He covers his eyes and.
Pretty sure they're next to the condoms, so he clearly didn't go down that aisle.
Just ignore that aisle, yeah.
I just put C, like down. But again, this is what happens when an 81-year-old man's directing as well.
You leave Garry Marshall out of this, okay?
I don't know why I'm. Because I 2 hours of my life that dead man owes me. Like. I'm sorry, Cindy. I'm sorry, everyone out there. I'm sure he's a lovely man. I like Happy Days. I'm okay. But you know what? No excuse.
I just think when you open that screenplay as a director and see that you need to buy me some tampons, cut to like Vietnam War scene, father negotiating aisle. Like, I think there's no way to handle that gracefully if that's the scene you're having to direct.
I wish I would have hoped Sudeikis would have like spoke up as well. Like
feminist icon Jason Sudeikis, yeah.
Like it's what I don't know, but like any actor, anyone, anyone being like, I don't think I want to deliver this. I think this is stupid. Yeah. Can we just change up a bit? Like do something.
Yeah.
But again,
and
I
think this has been my complaint over the last 2 movies we've talked about is the realism. It's just right, Jericho. Yeah. Like I was always getting upset in the last film about this is unrealistic,
and here we go
again.
Because it's again like, what is it? He grabs them, he stuffs them inside his jacket, and kind of like makes his way to the checkout, and then the cashier is like, can we get a price check on some and he's like, listen, they're $5, okay? They're $5. I'm paying $5. You're going to accept $5. That's the price. We don't need to tell anyone that's what I'm buying. And she's like, cancel the price check on the tampons. And he just sort of like dies inside.
And it would have been a cuter moment with this Jennifer Aniston theme coming up. If you had to go down this route that they did, she could have been like, you know what, you should get these ones instead, or something.
I'm sure I might have seen that in a movie of like, there's a lot of varieties. What is,
I thought he was going to be looking at the fucking aisle, and she comes up and she's like, oh, you need a help or something, and that's going to be their cute little.
Cute,
like a sensitive, caring dad who just wants to do right by his daughter, but is ignorant, hasn't done it before, as opposed to like, you know what, Jennifer, I fundamentally don't think women should have rights to their bodies. You don't believe in abortion, do you? I'm
she's just trying to help.
Yeah,
and that whole scene irked me as well, because she's just kind of trying to help, but he's like, hey lady, back off, it's fine, in a nice way, but it was so awkward. And like, he could have had a little more humility to him and been like, oh yeah, thanks, and just, she was being herself, but it was awkward.
Like, how do you get to be a 30-year-old man if you're like, if that's your attitude? Like, like, I don't know, it's just like so immature.
It's very generous as well. I appreciate that, Jericho. Sudeikis appreciates that.
Okay, next note. I also had the same thing as you, Kyle, where my note was John Lovitz. Oh, thank God.
Thank Jesus.
Just a little piece of driftwood to cling to in this stormy sea of Mother's Day. And then, just to make things even worse, I'm like, why am I watching a Jack Whitehall set? Because I feel like when we need to establish a comedian as a comedian, that scene normally goes on probably about half the length. Whereas this, it just seems like we're watching Jack Whitehall do a tight 5. Like, we're watching him do like 5 minutes of material of like, oh, I'm English. And what we call dinner, you guys call, I don't know, what we guys call crisps, you guys call chips. Oh, don't be a wanker. Oh. And it's just it's not good. He's not a funny comedian. And then he comes off stage and he talks to his girlfriend, and he's like, listen, fucking marry me already. And she's like, I just don't.
Well, there's one part as well. I don't know where the fuck this happened in the movie, but it's when he's working in a bar. I think it's before this. Obviously,
Yeah.
she says he's got a set coming up,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Fucking sanitize yourself." And I was like, "Yeah, girl, like fucking fuck Jack Whitehall, clean him. Like, don't let him anywhere near your baby, even if it's his. Don't let him near it. Keep that fucking arsehole away." But yeah, the actual set as well. The weird like, just marry me already. We have a kid. He does it in his set as well, doesn't he? Like moans that they've got a kid.
Fellas, don't you hate it when your girlfriend won't marry you?
Yeah.
Woo! So like he's trying to get her to marry him, and she's just holding out for whatever
Good.
reason.
Because
And
she's
like,
smart.
Are you talking about marriage or him? Two different topics.
And then we get the like they're in bed together, and like he's like, oh, like Jack Whitehall. I don't think he's a terrible actor. Like I like him in Fresh Meat, where I get the sense that he's kind of playing himself. He's playing like a stuck-up English toff. And he's good in that. And I've seen him in trailers for Clifford the Big Red Dog, where he doesn't seem like a terrible actor, but he's at the same time, he's like a comedian, and so maybe doesn't possess the emotional range of like a trained or untrained actor.
Well, I thought comedians were the best at doing like hard drama and stuff as well. You know,
Yeah.
like if you can make them laugh, you can make them cry. You can
Well,
show
you
them
can't make them
milkshakes.
laugh, Kyle. That's the problem. Yeah, but he's just like he's so one note where he's just like, oh come on, marry me, please.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, like if I were to play that part, anyone who's thinking of making Father's Day, I think he'd want to mix in more emotions to just make it compelling. You would have like confusion, you would have anger, you would have like all this like I
Some
don't
sort of,
fucking understand why like
yeah,
we've been together and like I'm your
building resentment, having a bit of distance, you know,
yeah,
like
yeah, you would try and win her round, and then you'd be
yeah,
frustrated, you'd be thwarted, you would try things, but he's just kind of like sad, like, come on, please,
mm,
marry me,
fucking
please.
puppy dog, like John Lovett's puppy
Yeah.
dog, you know, like
I just don't understand why you won't marry me. And my note is, what the fuck is that scene? Because he asks her in bed, and then it just like fades out. Like the scene fades out. It's such a weird cut. It fades out as she's on her way to turn out the light. And I'm like, what? You couldn't like you this
Just
saved
wait for
you
the
like
light to
yeah,
shine.
like this saved you like 2 seconds of edit time. So it was it's such a bizarre cut. And then next day, she's like speaking to like her gal pals, and she's like, ah, you know, that fucking son of a bitch, unfunny comedian asked me to marry him again last night. And they're like, oh, you know, Britt, why don't you just do it? Why don't you just do it? And she's like, because I have like my own difficulties with my mom, and I'm
I
not
have
ready
mommy
to.
issues.
yeah, but she
Yeah,
also says as well, like I'm scared of getting divorced, isn't it?
yeah,
She
yeah,
does say
yeah.
that, yeah, and they're like, well, don't do that then, you know, like
It reminds me of a guy me and Kyle worked with who he was engaged, and I asked him, I was like, oh, like when you getting married? And he said, I'm not. He's like, I don't want to get married. Like, I don't want to move in or anything. We're just getting engaged. And I was like, okay, but you know that's like a state that leads to marriage, right? You can't just indefinitely be engaged. That's like being like, oh, I just want to get pregnant. I don't want to have a baby. God no.
God no.
But so she's like, I can't get married. And then she reveals like, oh, I'm adopted. And I was like, bang, that's it. Of course, something easy, like something that we can resolve. You're going to have a heart to heart with your mother, and she's going to be like, you marry that lovely, lovely Mr. Whitehall. I give you my blessings. I'm going to walk you down the aisle. And like, I think that's the scene where she even says, like, her friends are like, oh, what's it? Something like hard, like something that's going to take like another 90 minutes, like tracking down your mom or something. It's like, no, no, no. Like, I've tracked her down. Like, I know where she is and who she is. I'm scared. But yeah, then
it doesn't really. Sorry, again,
no,
a
you're right.
realism thing. It doesn't really correlate. Don't you think she'd be more scared to be a mom than get married because she was?
No.
I mean, everyone has their own trauma, so it's not exactly fair of me to say.
It's fair, Marnie. Judge this
my mom
fictional
was
character
adopted,
all you
and
want.
yeah,
Well,
but it just doesn't poke holes.
Yeah, no, you know, making a child and carrying a child to term and giving birth, easy. It's the marriage. That's the scary
Like
part.
this movie isn't called Wives' Day. This isn't called like
Oh my
wedding
God,
day.
yes.
Yeah.
It's all about marriage. And I get marriage oftentimes come with being a mother and navigating that. And some of these stories make sense, but most of them are about the marriage and not the kids and the relationship with their mom.
Again, 81-year-old though.
Like, there's no reason for her to have a kid really beyond tying into Mother's Day, but it's like she's already got the relationship. Like, it doesn't need to be a mom sandwich of like, she doesn't also need to have a kid. This is kind of about her as the daughter and her relationship with her mom.
Yeah.
And Jack Whitehall can be nagging her about like, oh, but babe, we want to get married and have a kid, remember? You've always dreamed about that. And the first step is saying yes when I propose to you. Now, but like, just her having the kid, and it's like, you're already functionally like all these issues of like, oh, I'm adopted, and like all of these things are kind of, you've already half dealt with the problem.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So anyway, we then have Jennifer Aniston, and this is the Paris scene. So sorry for getting into it prematurely earlier, but Jennifer Aniston finds out on the phone that Timo and Marnie's neighbor are taking the kids to Paris. And we get an unconvincing Jennifer Aniston breakdown where she's kind of high-strung, like, oh, Paris, oh my God, oh, you're going to Paris? Oh, why can't you take them to London or Disneyland? I want to go to Paris. And I was like, this is just Rachel. I was like, we're just watching Rachel have a freak out, and Rachel also wanted to go to Paris. So I was like, is she just...
But that's, again, this is what I was saying, I don't know, maybe she's a great actress, I haven't seen her enough. I don't think the line between Rachel and Jennifer Aniston's that distinct at times. I mean,
no, I think she built her career on Friends, and so that character is easy and familiar because it was probably as close to her as you're gonna get.
Could I be any more Rachel?
You know, like I obviously like Lisa Kudrow and stuff I see in other things, and she's not Phoebe and all that crap. You know,
Matt LeBlanc we see in Ed with a monkey, and Joey
exactly.
doesn't have a monkey. Ross has a monkey. That can't be the same character.
She was in a film with Vince Vaughn, and I think it was called
Breakup.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
I've seen that, and she's just Rachel in that as well.
Yeah,
like literally, like you're just saying the exact same. And so maybe
I like Good Horrible Bosses.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. There's one. I forgot about Horrible Bosses. I did. Okay, I take it back.
I love Jennifer Aniston. She's one of my favorites. Like, I'm a big fan of hers, but I do agree that there is this Rachel, Jennifer Aniston blend that she brings to most of her.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, you know, like I'll let them do it, but like I don't know where the divide is. I don't know where the line ends and where one begins and the other. I do think she is very similar. Maybe that's why she was so successful as well, because it's just kind of turning your natural self character up to 11 or turning it up slightly more.
She's a rom-com queen. She fits in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that's my only note there, and it's kind of because the beat is just like a shitty one that I kind of drew attention to her acting, because I'm like, hang on, so like I thought initially that they were going to be like, we're moving to Paris and we're taking your kids away from you, or your kids are going to be like out of the country on Mother's Day, so they won't even get to phone you or whatever because they'll be in a different time zone. But when she's like, I want to go to Paris, I'm like, so what? You're freaking out because you're jealous of your kids getting to go to Paris? Like,
she's just mad that her husband is trying with someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. You've kind of salvaged.
Because she brings up like 13 years they were married, and now he's doing all this stuff for this 20-year-old.
Yeah.
And again, it's another trope you see in every one of these kinds of films, but yeah. It is a bit of a ridiculous breakdown.
This next scene, I'm sorry, Marnie, if we lose you here. This might be another one for enlisting Darren as football correspondent, but this is the Ted Lasso soccer scene. So,
I'll ask him if needed.
So I'm not entirely sure. I think it's Ted Lasso's team score. So it's the Lampard goal from 2010, the World Cup against Germany. There's a shot, it hits the crossbar, it goes down, and it's on the line. And like the ref then blows to stop the match. And Ted Lasso has a breakdown because he's like, you son of a bitch, that was a good goal. That was a perfectly good goal. Because the ref's like, you know what, wasn't in. And I'm like, Ted Lasso's in the wrong here because the whole of the ball did not cross the whole of the line. So technically, it is not a goal. But then, if it isn't a goal, the ref blew for full time with the ball just lying stop. I'm like, okay, the ref is in the wrong there because he has stopped the game with the ball in play in a dangerous position. So I'm like, neither of you's right. But they have a big.
I have the exact same.
Kyle, are you a big football person?
I am. Unfortunately.
Who's your team?
Inverness.
Okay. We're a Chelsea household.
Okay, 2-1. I mean, Inverness are better just now, so it's okay.
All right.
Better than Chelsea. That's okay.
I mean, come on now.
I won't let my fiance hear you. It's fine.
I think it'd be quite outraged with the statement that Inverness, Caledonian Thistle, who play in the Scottish Second Division, are better than the 11th best team in England or whatever Chelsea are.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so soccer talk. Ted Lasso.
No, the reason I asked Kyle was because do you know if that is like rules wise? Is that what happened?
You don't need VAR for that. That was clear.
Okay. So sorry, context for the listeners here. Me and Kyle, being soccer fans, didn't want to throw Marni in at the deep end. But I'm like, yeah, you know what, Marni's fiance is like a Chelsea fan.
Living with a football fan.
Yeah, exactly. So listeners, sorry if we've lost you, but anyway, the ref and Ted Lasso then clash, and they're arguing, and Ted Lasso gets thrown a yellow card, and he blows the ref's whistle, which gets given like so much. Like the ref's like, "Did you just blow my whistle?" And
never blow another man's whistle.
He blew another man's whistle. Yeah.
And again, to get really like football nerdy here. So he shows him the yellow card. You don't
blow another man's whistle to get real football nerdy. That's
gross.
No. Listen, you shows him a yellow card for dissent.
Yeah,
okay, that's fair. And then he blows the whistle, but he doesn't show him a second yellow.
He shows him a straight red.
Yeah, so that's how serious a crime it is to blow the referee's whistle. And that was I have that note. I'm running low, but that was
I had that same thought. I just didn't note it down because
so my question is, what is realistically, again, realism queen here, realistic that a bunch of 12-year-old girls, or however they are, 16-year-old girls would actually accomplish that shot?
It could happen.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, they probably have really light balls as well. Like when you're under 10s and stuff, you don't play with like professional balls. They're much lighter. So yeah, I mean, it could be.
It's like,
maybe it's my naivety. Sorry, but
no, you've got me thinking about it now, because like presumably, if this was like a sort of like professional standard ball, an 11-year-old isn't going to be getting the lift to ricochet off the crossbar. But if it is a lighter one, then they do fly a bit easier. So you might. It's not likely like that you'd hit the crossbar, but like it could potentially.
You can cut this out later, Jared.
No.
I like to think that Garry Marshall is just doing like thousands of takes, just waiting for them to do it. Yeah. No.
Well, it was a zoom in shot, so they obviously just mechanical. Yeah.
They had a ringer in. David Beckham was there just picking balls off the crossbar. Yeah. So I don't really understand what's going on with the wider setup of the game, because Ted Lasso's freaking out, being like
everyone's the way recording.
Yeah, like the way you'd think is like that goal saved them from defeat or whatever. But Ted Lasso's like, "Come on, coach! Like, come on, ref! We won the game." And I was like, okay, why are you this bothered about a win becoming a draw? That's not like the end of the world. And it's a good, I'm just a little bit disappointed in you, Ted, because you should be using this opportunity to teach your girls a lesson about sportsmanship.
I assumed.
Instead, you're blowing another man's whistle.
I assumed, though, there were, the 3 points. I think they were top of the league.
Yeah.
And they needed 3 points.
Yeah.
And the draw was as good a defeat because now they're second in the league and it's all over. So you've ruined our career. You've ruined our campaign. Our season's over. Terrible decision. That was my understanding. Again, I read too much into this game. I get excited when there's American Americanized football or Americanized soccer. I like the view, the lens that they kind of see it in sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I paid this way too much attention.
But Kyle, let me give you this. That's all well and good, and I thought it could be that because the top of the table clash at the end of the season where a draw is as good as a defeat.
Mm-hmm.
But the ref says, "Spare ball, please." After he's dispatched Ted Lasso, he says, "Spare ball, please," and then someone passes him a spare ball, and he's like, "Okay, play on." And so we're like, "What? You blew for full time like a second ago." So I'm
Again,
like,
realism.
Right. Well, I think maybe he blew for the goal, right? Didn't he?
No, because he goes,
oh, he does. Okay.
yeah, and that's why Ted freaks out because he's like, end of game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah.
And,
I don't know that.
And so my thing
on.
was, I was like, is this then a cup game? And they're going to extra time? And Ted's like, my girls don't have it in them. They're going to get mauled over extra time. Like, we need to win it in the 90.
Yeah.
But we really need to devote an entire podcast just to the football scene from Mother's Day because there's so much here, so much to delve into. But Ted Lasso's...
If it helps, Jericho, they never talk about the game the rest of the movie. It was such a big deal for those 2 minutes of this movie.
Why does his other daughter get sent off again as well?
Well, I just want to go back to Marni's point. Like, I like to imagine that there's like a scene with Jennifer Aniston, like where, you know, spoilers, they get together and they're like, like it's cut to like 1 a.m. and Jennifer Aniston's asleep, and she's like, "Oh, honey, what's wrong?" He's like, "I just keep thinking about that game. Like, I let those girls down. Their confidence is rock bottom. Like, none of them are going to get scholarships. Like, I've ruined their lives. Like, where's that ref's house? I need to go and have a word with him."
Yeah.
But
I think the younger daughter gets cut out because she talks back to him or something.
Yeah, so she gets shown a straight red, I believe. Also. Yeah, no yellow for her because she's like, "Oh, go fuck yourself, ref." No, she doesn't. Yeah. She says, "A pox upon your whistle."
Okay. I actually thought, right, so this is when I was watching the scene, when you're saying it never becomes relevant again.
Yeah.
For a moment, you know, when fuck knows when it happens, but Jennifer Aniston, it's I think it might be, I don't know, one scene she's freaking out, she's being, you know, weird, maybe in the supermarket or something.
Yeah.
You know, and she's doing her line. I thought the ref was going to be in the supermarket as well. And then Sudeikis would look weird, you know, like he'd have like a little mini freak out, and then, we're both strange and, you know, freak out over trivial things. And now we're going to get together. But no, never comes back up again. No point. And then just like the rest of the film, you just move on. But
I also feel bad for the younger daughter because I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in the first scene that introduces Ted Lasso and his kids, they're at the grave. And the youngest daughter is playing soccer, and her sister says, or football, sorry. Her sister says, "Please, you know, don't do that. We're at a graveyard."
Yeah.
And then anytime that there's a football scene, she is on the sidelines pouring drinks for the girls, not playing soccer. And then that moment that she has to kick the ball, she blubbers it and, you know, swears off to the ref in Shakespearean language and gets kicked out.
There's a subplot that never happened where she really wanted to be a footballer, you know, but she couldn't. And it's, you know, her mum tried to teach her before she went off to Afghanistan or wherever, Iraq, I don't know, wherever. And I think this is all cut. This is in the director's cut, the extended version. But yeah, I felt sorry for the little
untold
daughter too.
Story of the younger daughter.
She's my Franklin in this.
She is. It's like you root for the underdog.
Yeah, like there's just like there was probably like a Megan Rapinoe cameo that just ended up on the cutting room floor where she gives some encouraging words to the daughter, despite Ted Lasso just being like an absent father who's more interested in fighting with the refs and coaching AFC Richmond than he is raising his child.
And buying tampons.
Yeah, the soccer scene does continue a little bit where they're in the park walking and just lamenting the way things have gone. And I think one of the daughters like, "You know what? I think that ball was deflated anyway." We get a little deflate gate. And then the other daughter, so the older daughter says to him like, "You know, you're so sad all the time. You're just like Moby Dick." And I was like, why are we getting all these literary references? Like the younger daughter's doing Shakespeare. The older one's doing Herman Melville. Is this going to pay off? And then I was also being like, Moby Dick's not sad. Moby Dick's just a whale. Unless we're addressing some kind of melancholy quality to whales, which I don't know, maybe, but like, it's like Moby Dick's perfectly happy. He just gets murdered by a guy who wants to harpoon him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I didn't pick up on that. I wasn't paying attention by this point. My brain was mush. And I knew Lovitz wasn't coming back in a hurry. So like everything after this point, I'm going through the motions now.
Okay, so just to put our foot on the accelerator, we then get Julia Roberts, who is in the real world, because my note is Julia Roberts is not just on a set, because I thought this was going to be like another Valentine's Day where Julia Roberts does one shoot and it's on a plane. Yeah, I thought she was just going to stay on the infomercial set, but then you see her, she's doing like, what is it that she's doing where she meets Jennifer Aniston? Some kind of competition?
She's doing some sort of, well, in one scene she does a book signing, and in another scene it was like a contest to give whatever she sells on the infomercial. I think that's
Jennifer Aniston's an interior designer and gets hired, and then she rips her dress. I remember that. She catches her dress or something.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Guy from Valentine's Day hires her because he likes her website or something. I can't remember. Could be making it up.
Well, so the reason she gets hired is because she makes a scene and they like that charisma.
Yeah.
Like, this is so not... Oh, that was the other thing, a note I had. When she does sit down with Jennifer Aniston to have her meeting and go through her mock-up that she broke and threw in the garbage.
Yeah.
Every single time she would try and talk professionally, Julia Roberts would come and say, like, tell me about the Twinkie 20-year-old, or tell me about your ripped shirt, or whatever. It's just, and then she gets hired. And I was like,
is that not what women are like, Marnie? Are women not just always talking about fashion? And
no, that's a really sexist approach.
Yeah, no, it's, exactly.
Not how I got hired for my job, let me tell you.
My note for that was, maybe I'm the shallow airhead here, because my one was just like Julia Roberts and Jennifer Aniston doing a scene like 90s icons. Is like, I feel like I'm watching Heat, both 90s rom-com leads. This is Pacino and De Niro, because there's that scene where they're sat opposite each other at the, like, it's just framed, and I was like, wow, the two of them together as like two 90s icons, like two of the biggest actors of film and TV for that decade. And I was like, I don't think they'd ever done a scene together before, so I felt like I was watching an event.
Apparently there's a 90s Comic-Con now that you can go to, so there you go.
Oh, really?
You don't need to have it on scenes. You can just go.
But yeah, she has her little diorama, and that's really all I have to say. It reminded me of The Simpsons, where Homer designs the nuclear power plant.
Yeah. Competition for kids.
Yeah.
And she beat them all. Yeah, 100%.
My next note, racist parents. So Margot Martindale and the actor who we can't be bothered looking up,
Mr. America.
Yeah, they're on Zoom, they're on Skype, sorry, and they're like, hey, so like, hope you're well, surprise, we're here. And their daughters freak out because their parents have come from Texas to Georgia, which isn't that big drive, I guess.
I think maybe from the span of the day, it seems.
Yeah, and so they're busted. The lives they are living are exposed, and the note I have here is gay person, because they just keep repeating, like, my daughter's a gay person. She's dating another gay person, and she has a child with that gay person. Because I think she tries to hide, like, oh, you know what, Carmen Esposito is like my partner, business partner. And then they sort of come clean. And so there's a lot of dialogue about gay person. And then there's Mr. Aziz, who, like, they just full on slur him, where, like, the dad's like, you're dating a towel head. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, there's no coming back from this. You can't really be like, there's not going to be like a heart to heart where he's like, you know what, I called you that slur out of ignorance, and really let's play golf together. And so that's just like a scene. Like, I know we kind of harped on like the representation in Valentine's Day. We were like, oh, you wouldn't get like something like this sort of heteronormative in 2023, but like this was like 4 years after Valentine's Day.
Yep.
and is even more like dated. So I don't know. Before Trump's America, I guess. We then get an Ed Sheeran song, and my note is for fuck's sake, because the thing I liked about Valentine's Day was that it was the pre-Ed Sheeran era. Didn't have to think about him, but he's
didn't even notice there was an Ed Sheeran song in it.
Yeah, no, it's one of my weird prejudices. So I have just the hairs on the back of my neck raised, and we then get a scene with Jennifer Aniston, I think, and the clown, Matthew Walker, aka Randy the Clown, aka the screenwriter of this film, aka Gary Gilkins in Valentine's Day. And he gives her like a little pep talk where he's like, we're all replaceable. For every professional clown, there are a million hacks with a red nose. And Matthew Walker is a real interesting character based off his IMDb page, because he seemed to be a normal actor. He has a bunch of like he has a bunch of decent credits. Like he's in The Princess Diaries, he's in like sitcom stuff.
Oh yeah, he is. Sorry.
And then
Princess Diaries, Garry Marshall as well, isn't it?
I don't know, I've not seen it. But it makes sense, the Anne Hathaway connection. He's like a good.
I think it is. Because Garry Marshall's Pretty Woman, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's the same. It's definitely Princess Diaries. Okay, I mean, I could be totally wrong. I'm getting confident here, but I'm pretty sure he is.
Okay.
So they're friends. They're getting work. Like whatever.
Matthew Walker started off as a regular actor. Just like you look at his IMDb page, they're all regular character names. And then 3 of his last 4 credits are clown or mime.
So that's what he probably wants to do, though. You don't write yourself in to be a clown if you don't want to do it.
I think he's been typecast. I think Garry Marshall went up to him and was like, Matthew, like, you know what? We've got like a great role for you. It's like, yeah, I know, like the character Randy who gives like Jennifer Aniston a pep talk. Such a good scene. And Gary's like, it's a good scene, but it could be a funnier scene. Really, Gary? What do you mean?
Great scene.
If you were a clown. No, Gary, please. Like, I don't want to put on the face paint again. I'm allergic. Come on, do it. It'll be so funny. You know what we say? Every movie needs a clown. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone chooses to be a clown. No one lives a fulfilling life and then decides like towards the end of their acting career, I'm exclusively going to play clowns.
Hey, never say never. Call us in 70 years and tell us.
When I'm playing clown. Thank you.
Just kidding.
Yeah, okay. So from the lighthearted to the serious, we then get another racist scene. Racist grandmas on Skype, where Margot Martindale's grandson is called Tanner. And I think one of the first lines we hear him saying to his other grandmother is, I get why they call him Tanner. He's a little dark.
Yeah.
And like the Indian racist grandma says, I think he's a little light.
Because the Indian grandmother has a line as well where she's like, that's racist. I like it.
Yeah. I
was like,
she's like,
that bothered me.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. When you think shocked. Like a white person probably wrote that line.
Yeah, an 81-year. I'm blaming Garry Marshall
Stop
again.
blaming Gary. Gary's other films aren't racist. Okay.
When a middle-aged clown wrote this, like maybe I should have expected it. But
well, the line is like Margot Martindale says something about like, oh, like lovely weather you're having in India, isn't it? And she's like, I'm in Vegas. And she's like, I get to gamble and like I don't have to pay tax. It's low tax and I get to gamble. And Margot Martindale's probably like, yeah, and you can drive for miles and see nothing but sand. It probably reminds you of home. And that's for Indian grandmothers. Like, I don't understand that comment. It sounds racist and funny.
Yeah, that's
before Trump got elected, racism was just a thing that we laughed at. We had cool black president Barack Obama. Like everything had been we'd solved racism. Racism was nothing to worry about. It was just a light-hearted thing. Things could be racist and funny. But yeah, no, that's like a real sad scene.
It really is. And again, I'm sleepwalking through this film at this point. That woke me up. That genuinely, oh shit, I didn't expect that. So yeah, that's That's something.
Yeah.
My next scene, Jack Whitehall's doing stand-up, and he's doing stand-up with a baby for some reason, because his wannabe fiance can't take care of the baby. So Jack Whitehall's performing in a competition to win some money, and he's doing a set with a baby, and he's just like, "Ooh, look at me, I have a baby." In English, we call this a bairn. No, I don't know what English.
I was thinking about this scene because this bugged me. Because it's probably an over 18 venue, so the baby shouldn't be allowed in. It shouldn't have ID on him. Can't get past the bouncers. And second of all, the best part of the scene is Jack Whitehall loses the competition technically to the baby, and that made me really happy. I was like, an infant that can't even vocalize yet is funnier than you. Just quit, man. But Lovitz appears again, doesn't he? Did I?
Lovitz compares the one comedy club in Atlanta. So
Lovitz, got more than 2 lines, so he came back. So this was probably my favorite scene of the whole film. I got a laugh out of losing to a baby.
There is another problem.
He did lose. He did lose. That baby.
It's her name on the check. I like to think that he then goes to the bank, and they're like, "Well, she doesn't have ID, so."
She doesn't have ID. She doesn't have a bank account. See, this is where I was thinking. I was like, John Lovitz is smart here. That check's going to bounce. He doesn't have to give away any money.
I just want to flag up, this is another problematic scene, though, because Jack Whitehall fat shames Tiny.
He does,
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I can't. Oh, I'm so English that I can't hold a baby and do comedy at the same time because my mouth and my hands, they just do." Mm-hmm. You, sir. I don't know why he's turning. I'm gradually turning him into Russell Brand. You, sir. You look like you have an ample bosom to carry my youngin, and just gives his baby to Tiny. "You fat bastard! You can breastfeed my baby while I'm doing some stand up." And he has a bit of back and forth with Tiny, and people love him. It's almost like he's like a hack comedian, and a baby is his airplane food, because he just electrifies his set, and we see the audience connecting with him in a way that they had not prior. Where I will confess, this is my one laugh of the film. A guy says to his date, "You know what? We can have a baby if you want." And she's like, "This is our first date." Ew. But yeah, that's
an hour and 15 minutes in, and finally some relief, a laugh, and some. Yeah, I agree. It also made me think as well, if you didn't have the baby with him, what was he set?
Exactly.
He relied. That baby was a prop. He was like Carrot Head or something here. He relied on that fucking baby. Yeah, for shame, Whitehall.
The other thing I didn't understand when he handed the baby off was it was like, "Okay, take my baby so that I can do my sketch." Yeah. But he kept the sketch going with the guy and then took the baby back immediately after.
Yeah. He was like, "Take my baby so I can call you fat."
Well, that's it. That's it. He gave away the baby and went, "Oh shit, there goes my set. I've just handed away."
Give me back the baby. Give me back the baby.
Yeah, exactly.
We then move on to another crazy scene, because they trick Mr. Aziz. Mr. Aziz's wife phones him saying wait, what?
Before you get to this scene, there's a scene where racist grandma number 1 goes and plays with the kids in the backyard, and it's this montage moment where she's playing with the kids and she's starting to realize and love and whatever. And this scene happened. This scene's important because it forces her to realize, okay, no, this is my family. I'm going to move on. And this is the scene that Jericho's about to talk about. But the whole scene bothers me because that's not going to change your political views and your racist views and your anti-LGBTQ views. And suddenly there's a Band-Aid and they can go and fix their kid's marriage and be like, "It's all good. We're all family."
Exactly.
Yeah, it's that's going to be fun for your grandson to realize as he grows older, "Oh, my grandmother hates all people of my ethnicity, but I'm okay because I'm related to her by blood." It's the worst.
The cookie cutter solution that doesn't
Exactly.
100%.
It's like, you know what? We're not that different. We're not that different. Racists and racists and ethnic minorities, we're not that different. We can all get along if we just put aside our differences of you
Yeah.
hating me being hated by you. We can all just get along.
Mhm.
So as part of this reconciliation plan, they phone Mr. Aziz, like his wife phones him and is like, I'm taking the
No, she
kids.
says in the baby monitor.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Yeah. She says in the baby monitor, like, I'm taking the kids and going. We're in the RV, and Mr. Aziz runs because his family's being kidnapped. And
Taken to
then
live with his racist in-laws, which
exactly.
makes no sense.
And then like they hit the gas and they're just tearing down the street. No one's buckled in. They're flying all over the place. And like they're pulling the womb float also, I think.
I think they're chasing them or something. Yeah, it's
yeah.
somehow attached.
Yeah, and because that's where we get lots of reaction shots with passerbys, and someone's like, they made a womb float for Mother's Day. I can't wait to see what they do for Father's Day.
Is that a dig that they're gonna make a new one, but the director, the whatever, passed away?
That's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a post-credit scene where Samuel L. Jackson turns up, and it's like, you know, that womb float was pretty impressive. Are you going to top that for Father's Day? We then get the reveal that like the racist grandfather just did that for a laugh. Like he was like, "Oh, the fear of death brings everyone closer together," or something. And it's like because then the cops come out and like are kind of like question everyone who was in the car because they were speeding, like recklessly endangering lives. It's like, oh, Grandpa committed a felony to bring people closer together. Which, yeah, realism, I guess, Marni's
Again,
issue
yeah,
with
exactly.
this film.
It's never gonna click.
No. And then I've got the line, who's got the registration for the vagina? One of the cops has the line, there's a parade of vaginas. And this is just like the film is deteriorating like before my eyes.
Tasteless.
Yeah. So the next bit I have is like Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso's got like a bunch of flowers in his room. And this line is so poorly ADR'd. Like the daughters are walking towards the house with a woman who is from his gym. And you can hear, like, if you listen to it, you can hear it's dubbed so poorly because she says, like, please, I can handle him. I'm a pole dancer. And then, wow, I think your daddy uses discount at Pro Flowers. And like the line is just so clearly like not recorded in the same environment as everyone else. But why does he have all the flowers? They're for Jennifer Aniston, right? No, they're not.
I think he just felt, well, what I took from it is that he felt bad that he had basically boycotted Mother's Day and realized that his daughters need to celebrate it in order to remember their mom. And so he tried to go to the store and grab the last minute things because it already is Mother's Day and fill it up and do the karaoke scene because that was what their mom liked to do. But it was clearly didn't translate well because neither one of you understood that.
Thank you, Marnie. I was checked out by that point in time.
I'm
so it's
gone.
It's like they're doing a project on The Great Gatsby, like they're studying Moby Dick and
Another
Shakespeare and Great Gatsby.
does hip hop dance, and I'm
that was hard to watch. I walked away for that one too.
Yeah.
They missed a trick though because they should have had like Ashton Kutcher deliver the flowers. Like his character from Valentine's Day.
You just want it all to be connected, don't you? You want.
I want meaning, Kyle. References, Easter eggs. They give my life meaning.
Yeah.
And that's the end of my notes. So Jennifer Aniston's son has an asthma attack, and the 20-year-old phones her and freaks out. And Jennifer Aniston mothers the 20-year-old with like, listen, tough love. Like, you better get used to this bitch because my kids require a lot of care. And she's like, just, like put him in the freezer because cold air helps him breathe. And he has a spare inhaler in his backpack. And then we get like a hospital scene. They're all at the hospital.
Yeah, the dad shows up, gives him the correct administration of the inhaler, and then says he doesn't look like, it's working. We got to take the kid to the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Jason Sudeikis was at the hospital because
he fell off the roof.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, I forgot that too.
I'm the only one who watched the last 10 minutes.
I just watched it. Like
I remembered he was there. I was just like, was
He's
it
in
hip
crutches
hop?
at the end?
Was it? Yeah.
And I was like, it's something because he does a line. I think that's what threw me off. When she asks him, why are you in the hospital? And he's like, another hip hop related injury.
Yeah.
See, I remember
he
that.
was
I did watch it.
karaokeing and then he flipped off.
Yeah, because he's karaokeing and they try and set him up with a hot mom, and he's like, too soon and too hot. And then he's hospitalized moments later. And then he gets with Jennifer Aniston, and he's like, great, because you're not as hot as the hot mom from earlier on. So I feel like I can maybe make this work. And so that's the ending for their storyline. And then the other one is
Wait, sorry. There's this one part when they're in the hospital that Jennifer Aniston and her ex-husband tell the kids and the 20-year-old, we're going to go for pancakes for dinner. And all three of them go, yay, we'll meet you in the car, and go off. And it's like they wrapped her up into being one of their kids, and it's so hard to watch.
I only had my last thought was when Jennifer Aniston gets her hand stuck in the vending machine. I got my Simpsons flashback, Jennifer just holding on to the guy. That was stupid. Again, I think it's the little youngest daughter says goodbye to Jennifer Aniston as well. I thought that was quite cute from her.
Goodbye,
okay,
mommy.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. She says something like, "Bye, Sandy," with two sons or something.
Two sons,
yeah. I was like, okay, see, you're paying attention, little girl. I'm not, but you are, and that's good. Good for you.
So that's the book closed on that part of the storyline, and then the other one, Julia Roberts with the world's worst haircut, looking a bit like a ginger Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to discuss Marnie's bad scene because Britt Robertson she tracks down her mother, Julia Roberts, and they have a touching heart to heart where she reveals that, like, so I got pregnant at 16 and we were going to get married, but his parents took him to the other side of the country. Did they take him to Hawaii?
No. The daughter ended up in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. Thank you once again, Marnie, for paying attention. His parents moved cross state, and her parents were like, no, this isn't happening. And so she had to give, and Britt Robertson was like, was it like whatever, like a phase? And she's like, no, it was real love.
Oh, was it puppy love or was it true love? Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then she's like, and I had to give you up for adoption, and a couple in Hawaii took you. And so that's that. And then she's like, but as a condition, I made them send me like pictures of you every year and like a scrapbook. And she's like, what are your parents still? And she's like, no, they're dead. And it's like, oh, that's very convenient. Very convenient for like something to kill both of your parents together. Just like no loose ends here in the world of Mother's Day. And Julia Roberts is like, my parents are also dead, so it's just the two of us. And it's just the most neat, exploitative scene.
Exploitative, manipulative, like just so cheap and nasty. And again, it's unbelievableness as well. I think it's when she shows her the scrapbook as well, or the photos.
Yeah.
I was like, get right to fuck.
I have this right here with me. I keep it in my dressing room.
Yeah. I was like, come on now, this is fucking ridiculous. And the fact the daughter's just like, oh, Soundo, you're my mum now, you're my mommy, this is your grandmom now. Yeah, bullshit. Utter bullshit.
And it solved her issue with marriage.
Yeah.
She
instantly.
Can now get married.
Which I would again, maybe this doesn't say a great thing about me, is that I would play Jack Whitehall as like a man with anger management issues. But I'd be kind of pissed if I'm like, okay, so like quite a big thing in our relationship was resolved just between you and your mother. Like, can we not talk a bit more about this? Like, nah, it's okay.
Get married.
Yeah.
The fucking boy from Valentine's Day is going to marry us. It's all fine. It's all good. Right. Here's 3 children that were pissing about playing football in the hallway earlier. You know, that's all good.
Yeah, and let's get married in our workplace, which is a bar that we bring our child to every day.
Let's raise our award-winning comic daughter before the age of 1 in a bar. Yeah. And so they get married, and that's just like, it's all very Shakespearean, to quote Ted Lasso's younger daughter. Everyone gets married, they all live happily ever after. And then we get a scene with Margot Martindale. Like, we get like a little, she gets the final, I can't remember what the final scene is. I just remember it's like a 2-second cap with someone.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I've got it here. Is it the racist grandmothers meet?
Yeah, they meet. They're like sitting on.
Oh yeah, she shows up, and they're like, "We're all gonna stay at Kate Hudson's house." And that was it.
Because Kate husband's like, ah, shit, like now I have to deal with my mother and deal with my mother issues, and I have to go on, you know, whatever. Like, he has a line or something in there as well.
Okay, I just played it, and the last scene is a 2-second scene with the two racist grandmothers sitting together on a bench taking a selfie. I think the final line of this movie might be something like, "Let's take a selfie."
That's how we're going to end this podcast.
Isn't it like up high so it's skinny or something?
Yeah, that's it, Marnie. That's it. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Up high so it's skinny.
Yeah. That's how we solve racism, is white racist and an Indian racist take a selfie and they look skinny. They look great. And skinny racist. So that's the end of this film.
Good, yeah.
A little piece of trivia for the two of you. Marnie, I don't know if you share this passion that Kyle and I do, but IMDb trivia said that this film was once in development with Dennis Dugan. Dennis Dugan, best known for being the go-to director of a whole bunch of Sandler movies. Like, he directed Grown Ups and whatever. He's like one of Adam Sandler's guys. And so I'm like, does that mean we were close to getting a Mother's Day with Adam Sandler, with Kevin James, with David Spade,
that would have been so
with
much
Rob
better.
Schneider?
I mean, maybe that's why Lovitz is in it as well. That was like the only holdover.
Yeah, he's the Hangover.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that. I can see it. Sudeikis would still be there as well. Like,
yeah.
So would Aniston. So would Hudson.
Yeah,
you would drop Julia Roberts because that salary needs to go to Sandler.
Give it to Barrymore or something.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore's agreed to do it for half the price.
Exactly.
She'd do it for the hang.
And it would be set in Hawaii. That would be the change.
Yeah. That's the other caveat.
Yeah. And then a quote from one of this film was critically mauled. So this film basically ended the holiday movie tradition that we had going, because it made money, but not as much money as the other ones, and it was like ripped apart. And a quote which I certainly connected with: "As feel good and life affirming as a fire in an asbestos factory neighboring a children's hospital."
Oh my God.
I like that.
But first and foremost, we are a Razzie podcast, and this movie was nominated for 2 Razzies, 2 cast members. Once again, I will give you the opportunity to guess. So, Kyle, do you want to go first? Which 2 cast members do you think were nominated?
Julia Roberts.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Aniston. Aniston and Roberts. Aniston lead, Roberts supporting. That's going to be my guess.
Okay. Marnie?
I definitely agree with Roberts, but I don't know about lead. Maybe Hudson.
Well, Marnie's got it. And Kyle, you're gonna
What's my prize?
As soon as we can convince someone to give Kyle a Razzie, we're gonna actually ship it to you. Kyle's gonna need to win a second Razzie. So Kyle, you completely dropped the ball on this. So the two nominees rather, Julia Roberts, but she is in lead, which she's not. She's not. Like, let's get this straight up. Like, she's in this movie like 15 minutes. So she was nominated for lead actress, and Kate Hudson was nominated for supporting actress, even though I think she probably has more screen time.
Wait,
apart
for
from
sure,
that big
she's
monologue.
the main story.
Yeah.
Well, the other way around. Okay, fair. I nominated though. And what's this? This is 2016.
Yeah.
What year are we in for 2016?
Hillary's America.
Okay, we're not here yet though, so we'll come to that.
We haven't covered it yet. No,
that's fair.
So our usual questions. I think are we all in agreement that this is Razzie worthy?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a lot worse than Valentine's Day.
This is a lot worse than that. And that also answers the second part, how'd you fix it? Just put on Valentine's Day. It's just the same film, but better.
Just watch a different film. That's how you fix it.
Just change the title,
just insert mother. Whenever they say love, just mentally edit in the word mother.
Just dub over it and you're fine. I don't think.
Well, we already came up with the solution to fix it. Have Adam Sandler's crew come in.
Totally different. Get a crew in, do something totally different. Marginally, it could be better if you cut Julia Roberts and her better haircut. Oh no, but cut her subplot too, because that's just insulting and horrible.
Yeah,
there's cut all that shit out. Yeah, if you just make it a schmaltzy Sudeikis and Aniston.
Yeah.
A little subplot with their brothers and sisters or something. If you simplify it a little bit more, it would be forgettable and not genuinely insulting. So there you go. That's the easiest solution.
Yeah. I don't have any small changes beyond the ones you've just said. I'd just like to share my vision. Hollywood, if you're looking to bring back the holiday movie, perhaps consult a little known visionary known as Jericho C. Reed, because my version of this would be equally exploitative, but just in a more cold, like dead-eyed, psychotic way. I'd be like, we're gonna push every single button here. We're gonna have like an empowering story about a queer couple adopting. We're gonna have the couple who can't conceive and who like have issues of like does being like a mother or whatever. We're gonna get into the messy, the nitty-gritty of what it is to be a mother. It's gonna be like, the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 thing of like, he may be your father, but he ain't your daddy. We're gonna have something like that. We're gonna have like the realization that, like, oh, like my aunt's actually kind of my mother, because like a mother can be anyone, they don't have to be. That's gonna be my Mother's Day, and you can see that in theaters May 2027.
Well, that's it. I mean, I'm bagging my cash and Hallmark is going to be Easter. I'm going Jesus.
You getting Kirk Cameron on board?
I'm getting Kirk Cameron on board. I'm getting Kevin Sorbo. I am going to get every D-list celebrity, and I'll make it for nothing as well. You'll get your 40 million budget and I'll get 40,000, and I'll make
I'll take Sandler and go do Hanukkah while you guys do this.
All right, we'll meet back for the next episode and see what we've come up with when we're all 3 Pride Razzie nominees.
There is a film, now I'm forgetting what it's called. Anyway, it kind of talks about what Jericho was just talking about. I'll find it for you. It's going to drive me crazy, but they address more of this stuff, and it's still gimmicky the way that Mother's Day is, but it's more on the lines of what you would hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to find the new one.
How to Lose a Guy in 10
No,
Days.
It's with Jennifer Lopez and Elizabeth Banks.
With Murder. How to
Maybe I'll just text it to you. I feel bad.
An atomic bomb. And that's okay. We'll cut this out. How to Train Your Dragon.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Oh shit! Yeah, I know that has like a bunch of good people. Yeah.
But like, it's much more realistic. Again, onto my thing, but like Elizabeth Banks's character, goes through a difficult pregnancy, and they're just, and at the same time, her in-laws are pregnant too, and that whole family drama. But then there's Jennifer Lopez's scenes where they can't conceive and they're going the route of adoption, and the trauma it's caused them as a couple and everything. So it's kitsch, it's cute in that it's still that kind of rom-com thing, but it actually addresses the realistic. And that's what I was thinking that these movies were meant to do, is to address that there's different kinds of couples on Valentine's Day and different kinds of families on Mother's Day and what they all go through, but it just was handled so not delicate.
Yeah, like this movie's just lacking diversity in every way, because I thought we were going to get that almost like box ticking of like, oh, like the couple celebrating Mother's Day, like when their kids have kind of grown up, and like the woman who's like, oh, like, am I like my kids? I'm not going to see my kids for the first Mother's Day or whatever. Like I was expecting more of that, not just racist grandmas hanging out and a bunch of white women kind of having similar storylines.
Yeah.
But
the point is that everybody's family, even the three of us, we all deal with Mother's Day completely different.
Yeah.
For multiple different reasons. And that's the point of these stories, is that everybody has their own story, but they lacked representation.
Well, that's a perfect note to end things on. So I'm not going to say any more, because this episode is going to be out the week of Mother's Day. So it's going to be out pre-Mother's Day. And yeah, that's the perfect parting comment.
That is.
And we will see you again, listeners, and we will see you, Marnie, for the third part in our trilogy, New Year's Day. We've got a bit of a New Year's Eve. Oh God!
One take. No,
we're gonna be back here at midnight on December 31st. Cancel your plans. Yeah, which like I'm looking forward to it, because I hear that's like, I think that's another good one. That's another Valentine's Day. Like, I've seen the poster and I know that there's a bunch of people in that, so it cannot be as bad as this one.
It's better. Kyle, I promise it's better.
Okay, I've been burned. I lost trust in humanity now. I don't know what to believe, but at least I have time to recover after this.
Yeah.
I have, plenty of fun things. I'll forget about this. I will. Yeah. I'll remember Valentine's Day and I'll forget this. So I'll end up going fresh into New Year's, whatever. Look forward to it.
If you've enjoyed the podcast, then you can follow us on social media at Watching Worst, and you can email us with any comments or queries at watchingworstfilms@gmail.com. And we're going to be hopping back on the horse and rejoining our Razzie Quest next week, when we will be watching Basic Instinct 2. So
you thought I was miserable, now just you wait,
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Marnie, and thank you, listeners, for listening.
And thank you.
We will see you in 8 months' time for New Year's Eve.